Welcome to another episode of Evolving the World of Work podcast. I'm your host, Dave Clare, and today I have a very special guest, Aaron. I want to make sure, Zamykal. I hope I'm pronouncing it right, Aaron.
Perfect, Dave.
Thank you. Aaron is the founder and CEO of Actualisation, a market-leading Australian artificial intelligence AI company based in Brisbane. It obviously got offices around the world. Actualisation builds and deploys AI for small and large businesses who want to take advantage of its extreme benefits. So I'm really excited to dive into this, obviously in part of the evolving world of work, since AI is the hottest topic on the market right now. But right now we're experiencing more technological change in the last year than Aaron himself has ever seen in his 24 years of doing business. So drawing on his experience in several industries, and he has a diverse background, Aaron is constantly making sense of what's happening in technology. He has also spoken around the world on AI and what it means to our future. But most importantly, Aaron has a very young family that keeps him energized and motivated to creating an amazing life. So please welcome to the Evolving World of Work show, Aaron. Welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you here. You and I have had many conversations already, and I've been waiting to get you on to the podcast.
Well, thanks, Dave. I appreciate it. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, so let's get started. Just share us a bit about your journey and what led you to focus on AI within the evolving world of work.
Sure. Yeah. So my journey is a little bit varied, right? I was in financial services with technology, but for sort of the prior 15 years. And then the last 10 years I've been in the AI industry. I'm a make sense guy, right? So my why is to make sense of complex things. And so,
Beautiful.
I was drawn to AI because we need to change, and the impact that you can see it's making now, right? I was probably a little bit early in my journey, but the impact now is prolific, and we're sort of working out how this new world of work and output is happening. So, but yeah, look, I've always been into problem solving. Previously, was with money and finance, and now in business is for me is fascinating. So.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Thank you. Was there a defining moment, a pivotal moment or experience that really shaped your approach to, leadership and in the world of AI? Was there a defining moment that caused this?
I think back 10, 12 years ago, it was there was information coming out that organizations had been using. Artificial intelligence is old, right? I mean,
yeah.
A lot of these models have been around for 50, 60 years. I say we're at the end of the AI century. We're not at the start, but now it's everywhere, and it will be everywhere and everything, right? But
Yep.
I think the thing that sort of struck a chord with me back then was that predominantly we're seeing productivity decline, and how do we then sort of combat this in the modern workplace and the workforce? And maybe there's a better answer or better things that we can do or leverage to be able to solve this. And so, to me, there was a time where I didn't really understand what AI was, but when I sort of dive deeper, and it's maths and code, right, and replicating human intelligence and this human sort of problem solving, that really struck a chord with me, and ultimately this is the last thing that I'll ever do.
Oh, wow. That's a bold statement.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to me, it ticks everything that I'm interested in, but also, I have that, as that human element to what we do, but understanding how someone makes a decision, and all the sum of all their experiences produces an output. And these are the fundamentals to AI, right? Is that we have all these inputs coming in, we make sense of it, we make a decision, and then we have an output. And so while it's artificial, it's very human in how it's been designed.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of artificial intelligence around for a long time.
Yeah.
Humans, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's right.
The one thing for me, because I find this fascinating, and I think you and I may have touched on this one of our conversations, but I'm excited about AI because I think this is the first time a technology can actually help us to work less, not more. We had the internet come in, emails, all supposed to make our lives better, and I just think those things have made us work longer or produce more work. not
Yes.
work less and
Yes.
produce more work. And so I
Yes.
see AI right now as the opportunity when we think about, evolving the world of work, that imagine where we
Mm.
can actually have humans only go to work for 4 hours or 6 hours
Right.
instead of 8
Right.
or 10 or 12, and still produce equal, if not more work, leveraging
Yes.
AI in the workplace. That
Correct.
to me is that defining moment when I started looking at AI going, wow.
Yeah,
Um,
that's super exciting.
yeah,
And the difference is that the output is not being generated by a human,
yeah,
right? So, email and all these sort of technologies and software, right, that was meant to make our lives easier has actually created more content, more data. But then we need to sift through it, right? We need to make
yeah,
sense of it. We need to make a decision on it. Whereas now, this is the advent of sort of artificial decision making based on human traits and historical data,
yeah,
and prediction of the future. So, like that's the key difference is that the output is not being generated, does not have to be generated by a human if you don't want it to. So you don't need to be there for that, right?
yeah. Yeah, and I think that's to me is the really exciting part. I wrote a. It's funny because I was just doing some work on some content piece, and I looked and did some Google searching on some stuff, and then there's this people talking about something that I actually wrote back in 2019
Right.
about artificial intelligence and automation at the time, and then people are using the same analogy or reference in 2024
Mm.
back in 2019 because I could see then that to me that it was more automation at that stage than and what was loosely AI,
Right.
and that's when I started getting excited about it. And I'm like, there's something in this, and and now to see what in 20, I think I got into Chat GPT in January 2023, or
Yes.
yeah, would have been back then, right? Yeah,
Right.
and
Yeah.
what's happening since is quite amazing. So
Well, this is the generative. So I think most I'm generalizing, but most people's sort of entree into AI has been generative AI.
yeah,
So large language models, Chat GPT,
yeah,
which are, these neural networks. But this is, I guess, has created this sense of what could be, right?
yeah,
So Chat GPT is really helping me. What else could we do in our organization? Practical things that we could do.
yeah,
Bearing in mind that, a large language model like ChatGPT is 1/70th of all the other AI solutions and
yeah,
models out there. So it's been great, for people that have been in the AI industry because it's sort of humanized, generative, it's humanized AI.
yeah,
But, let's not forget about other neural networks and other machine learning models and um, other automations that can be used as well that provide a lot of value too. But it's great that we've been able to have something like ChatGPT to make it more known, and then you get demand, which then means you can supply, right?
yeah,
And small business can do this too,
yep,
which is different to what it was before. I mean, financial institutions have been using machine learning for 60 years.
yeah,
So, but it was for the few, right? And it was very costly.
yeah.
Now it's very affordable and can be deployed in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, ChatGPT to me is like the Tiger Woods to golf. It brought a whole new
Yeah,
base back to golf. Like golf is kind of like an old man sport,
yeah,
and now when he surged onto the scene, it brought this whole
yeah,
new tension, and so
yeah.
golfers are
Energy,
benefiting now from that. Yeah,
correct. Yeah, and we have these sort of this talk about old, old person, old man's game. Like
yeah,
AI is an old game.
yeah,
The compute power that we have now is what's making it, and the demand from business, right? So we've got this sort of two things happening. We've got extreme demand from business going, we want to get better, we want to help our people. And we also have the computing power, although at the moment we do, but that is also going to be a challenge, right? I mean, we were at an event last week, a key leader in the data centers here in Australia, who he's visited 130 data centers from around the world in the last couple of months.
wow,
And we are nowhere near where we need to be to handle the compute that we need. So that's the next challenge, right? We all
yeah,
want it, but now we need to we need to build this hardware. So
yep. But that's
yeah.
like anything introduced new. Like I always said to people, there were no gas stations or petrol stations before Henry Ford invented the
Mhm.
combustion. And then so we needed to build a network of those so you could drive that far.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you had to only
Demand
drive so far
drives it, didn't it? Yeah,
Right.
demand drove it.
Yeah, even electric vehicles the same today. We need to build more charging stations, and so
Right.
like that one problem constitutes a new solution, which then will create another problem, which will constitute another solution.
Correct.
So
Yeah,
let's dive into some more insights and perspectives then. What do you see as the key changes or most significant changes that are going to shape the future of work today, like in AI? So using in your sphere or anything else you want to introduce, but
Mm.
let's shape the future of work. Like, and we talked a little bit, about the hours, but how will it shape the way people work?
Yeah. Well, I think what we know is happening now, and I think will be common in businesses around the world eventually, right, is this ability to get answers quickly
Yeah.
and make a decision. And maybe I don't need to make decisions on everything so this time and space thing that's going to happen, where if I need to get an answer for something, I don't need to wait for a report to come in from last month, or wait for Robert to come back from leave, or you know what I mean, or wait for a department to give me something. So the waiting is gonna end. And so if the waiting ends, we end up with more time, right? We can actually then decide, well, what am I going to do with my time? So there's this waiting thing, that this speed of delivery to make a decision and to get the decision more right than wrong,
Yeah.
right, is exciting. And then this I call it like big problems and little problems, right? So if my little problems are being solved and taken away by AI, then all I need to do is spend my days on the big problems.
Right.
What we've got now is we've got big problems and little problems, and we're trying to do them all.
Yeah.
And so that's my greatest sort of like excitement of the future, is that a lot of these little problems are going to be taken away so that the humans can focus on the big problems. We've got plenty of those, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what really excites me, is that we use AI to, it's consuming these little problems and these tasks and these things that I don't need to do anymore, so that I have more time and space to focus on, the unique ability stuff. Like I love Dan Sullivan's latest book, 10x is easier than 2x, like this unique focus on your unique ability.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's going to be, imagine when we can unleash the unique ability of all the humans in an organization.
Yeah, that's right.
But that leads me to my next question, is the challenges. What do we see as the biggest challenge here for leaders to evolve their workplace culture, considering that, and considering we spent the last X number of years conditioning all that crap out of people?
Yeah.
And now we're going, hey, you're free now to tap into your unique ability. And they're going, what is my unique ability?
How do I find that? Yeah, well, that's like the greatest risk of humanity, I think, is for us to work out who we really are and what we want to do, right?
Yeah, so there'll be this existential crisis, and this is what I've been speaking about around the world in the last 3 weeks, is, we're going to face an existential crisis that, people are going to go, well, who am I now? Because it used to be defined by my work.
Yes.
Now AI is taking a lot of the little problems, all the worky, the tasky stuff away from me.
Yeah.
And now what do I do for a living? I think.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's what I really believe that is. I think it's early on that, right? Because the adoption, while it's running fast, it takes time to embed these things into organizations and for people to build their AI factories and these sort of things, right? But once that hits, then, or we're taking certain tasks away, we talk about it like the ability to be more human. I don't need to move these things around on a page anymore. I don't need to transpose this data anymore. I don't need to make decisions on these things. I can focus on these things. I just think what will change, like if we're focusing on those really impactful, making decisions on those really impactful things, and I've got more time to do it, then I don't know, hopefully the output is better, right, from humans. But yeah, these are things that we really need to consider, because they're coming full frontal, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So as a leader yourself, obviously you have your organization and it's evolving rapidly. how do you, let's talk about that, embracing leadership in your organization. I don't know how many people you have in your actual leadership team but distributed leadership, one of the philosophies
Yeah.
obviously that we share with people is that we should have all around leadership, not top down leadership in organizations today.
Yes.
And so how do you look at that through the work that you're doing, even in your own organization in actualization AI? So talk
Mm.
about distributed leadership. How do you see that playing a part?
Yeah, distributed leadership, right? I just think that's so powerful. And what we do here is we we are all leaders, and no matter where you are in an organization, you're leading.
Hmm.
And people see that, right? So while we're building these, AI models and training these networks and trying to get these outputs and accuracy for organizations, we're also thinking about how do we continually add more time and space in people's lives that work in my company. Um, and so that we can make better decisions, that we can practice our leadership and expose ourselves to new things. And we even have these cool Ferrari sessions, right? We've got the world's biggest Ferrari wall here. You can see a
Yeah.
bit of that, where we bring in not just external people, but everyone in the organization. There's like a TED talk, right, on something that they're interested in. So they provide leadership in a particular field. For me, it's been such a big part of my life that has been a debriefing. I formally debriefed my life every month for 15 years on documents, right? So you can go back all these, and this ability to understand and have time and space. So how did I do that? What were the highs and lows? How did it make me feel? Why is it significant? We try and instill that here in the organization because we are fast growing,
Yeah.
and we're doing complex work, but trying to make it really simple and practical. And in some days we're just flying and making sure that we provide that human element where it's, great relationships, we're communicating well, we're solving problems, but we're not keeping things a secret, and but every person in this organization knows that they have a voice, and we're also building things that are quite cutting edge that are impacting other organizations too, right? But we have structures and governance and things like that in place. But I also think we're learning as we go too, because there's not a lot of precedence,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. There's one of the things that we challenge organizations on is how do we move from an ecosystem of leadership where I'm the boss, you're my subordinate, you report to me, to an ecosystem of leadership where we have all around leadership and everybody answers to something first, not to someone.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
a big transformation for organizations to make.
Yes.
But it's probably one of the most powerful ones you can do when we actually then have central, instead of like the ability to make decisions in all around where power and
Yes.
information can coexist at the same table.
Yes. Yeah. We talk about going direct, right?
Yeah.
So rather than having to, like, if you've got an idea or a problem to solve, or you've got a problem, being able to go direct and not have to go through layers of bureaucracy and saying, oh, you should speak to me first and then I'll speak to them. And,
Yeah. Chain of
we
command
love that.
stuff. Yeah.
That was Frank Slootman, right? CEO of Snowflake.
All right.
Talked about going direct. We love that. I think it's such a sustainable strategy because ultimately we want people to be self-led
Yeah.
and empowered. And we this middle management and managing people, I know that's being taken away. AI is replacing those roles as we speak, right?
Yeah.
That it's the people doing the work that are going to stay doing the work. But we want that empowerment to happen so that people feel like they can actually make a decision and be assertive, right?
Yeah. That's great. That assertiveness is really, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Through that in the end.
Because when you don't have assertiveness, you have something else, and you have complacency,
Yeah.
and like I'm just working. I don't really have an impact here. You have all these other problems.
Yeah.
So if you have assertiveness, I think it shows that we're managing these other issues well, and people don't feel like that because they're making decisions and they feel empowered, right?
Yeah, but if they're able to assert themselves in that place, that also means they're emotionally connected to the work that
Yes.
they're doing.
Yes.
right? And like
Good
that is
point.
the little tiny bit that gets missed in from a culture point of view. I love it when people are assertive. That means they're passionate about whatever they want. They're willing to stand up and defend what it is that they believe in, and they're here for the right reasons. So that's why they're
Yes,
asserting their
correct.
decision that they're making. And as long as we have the decision making filters in place,
Yes.
you can assert yourself because you're self-grandiosing or whatever it might be. But if we
Yeah.
have the right structure in place and the
Mm,
framework in place and they're making decisions inside that decision making filter, they can assert themselves clearly because they go, here's why
yes,
it fits
correct.
with everything that we believe in.
That's right. Yeah, and we know we're a client-led organization, right? So like it's we're making these decisions in the best interest of our clients, and we should always make those decisions. And people should feel empowered at any layer or level of the business
Right.
to be able to do that,
Yep.
right?
Well, yeah, and we talk about being purpose led. So if your purpose doesn't serve your customers, then it's not your purpose or your clients. So
Right.
my job is to be the best I can be for my team so they can be the best that they can be for our clients. And we
Hmm.
all have to do that through the lens of why we're all here together to do this, which is
Yeah.
passionately solve that problem for those people.
Right. Yeah. Perfect. And our purpose is we believe in the freedom to be more human,
Right.
right? And then we're a tech AI company,
Yeah.
but we know that what this revolution is doing is it's allowing us to get back to who we really are, right?
Yep.
And this is
But
this
you're
is
a
the
human company that uses tech to make us more human.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Right, that's awesome. So
Yeah.
let's talk about one other aspect that's really also really important but hot topic right now, of course, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. Do you have any insights on how AI is going to help with that or hinder that, or like is that? I don't know if you
Well,
can.
I speak a fair bit as well about, and the questions always come up like when you're preparing, right? They go, here's some questions, right? And they go, and one of them is always around like biased data
Yeah.
and how that impacts, inclusiveness and diversity. And my answer is, well, that the data is a reflection of humans that generated it, right? And ultimately, every human is biased in some way.
Yep.
Because you're born in a certain part of the world, certain skin color, certain race, etc. Right? So that ultimately that we have these data sets already started, and there's a lot of there's a lot of talk around AI being inclusive um, and to have a certain level of understanding and fairness. And I'm always a little bit confused by it. Of course, we want it to do good,
Yep.
and to be inclusive and to be fair and to um, to all the good things that we want about people and humanity, right? But I can't help but wonder, how are we actually going to achieve that? Like,
Mm.
who makes the rules, right? What is right? And there's right and wrong things. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I understand that. But the data that all these models and networks are being trained on comes from data that is being generated. There's a whole world of synthetic data as well, which is a whole new industry, generating synthetic data off actual data to train these models. And that's a thing. But even that also has some bias in it, because the original data set has some bias too. So I think we have this lens about, it has to do the right thing around people. It can't be, there's violence and all these sort of key areas that we know what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
But that sort of opens it up to, I don't think anyone has really worked it out, to be honest. Like, I think it's a reflection of humanity, and that's confusing. Um, I don't know
Yeah.
if I've answered the question, but I'm willing to
No.
talk about it because it's not an easy one to solve, I don't think.
No, I don't think we're too far down the road with it at this stage to say, hey, we've got a really great solution. I think there's definitely opportunities for us to look at it and how it can impact. I think there's a great opportunity for people with what I call different abilities to be able to now do work that they may not have traditionally done, or be able to bring the value that we may not have perceived was value there,
Yes.
and into the workplace. And I think that's an exciting component of that.
Yes.
But to your point, like once again, anything, ethics or whatever,
Mm.
it's still built on whatever those frameworks are. So
Yeah, that's
you,
right. But we are, I mean, the exciting thing, we have a little bit of a joke, that people with maths degrees can now get a job. And that's true because, AI is maths and code. And that's our team is mainly made up of people with that sort of skill set.
Yeah.
And, that's, we need, this is really the advent of the data people, the maths people.
Yeah.
And sometimes those people also have been forgotten about for a long time.
Is this like a whole remake of Revenge of the Nerds or something?
Yeah, well, it's like it's like this rising of maths and physics. It's great.
Yeah. All us brainiacs now have a chance. This is great.
Yeah.
It's our time.
Exactly, it is. It's our time. Yeah.
Oh man. So let's talk about the future of work itself now. So firstly, just what is if you were to look into your crystal ball and go, hey, how do you envision the workplace of the future, say 10 years from now? Everything that's going on right now, what does that look like 10 years from now?
Yeah, it's I think it's going to be interesting. I think what I think about the skills that we need right now, right? So I joke about the maths. Yes, there's that component, but we also need people that are creative. Yep. And that can understand problems and really listen. I think the ability to listen is going to be, we know it's important, of course, right? But to really understand the problems, to be able to solve them is critical. And so, where we have AI supporting us, and it's already, if you're using a large language model like ChatGPT, AI is already supporting and coaching you. Like that is pretty happening now. So I think, our view is like most of our team have an AI that supports them and helps produce output. And we're an AI company, right? So we know that produces output. I think everyone will have that.
So you guys are products of your own product.
Exactly. Yeah, because AI creates AI.
Yeah.
Right. So with humans tweaking and adding value, of course, but so I think everyone will have that support. I think this specialist type role. I don't know. I was talking to a law firm the other day, and they said that people are going straight to ChatGPT. There's kind of like no. What's going to happen to all the young lawyers, right? And where do they learn? And because these sort of segments are going to be carved out, and they're not going to exist. And so you sort of go from graduating straight into a role, and your support is AI.
Yeah.
Right. And so you might not have the experience yet.
The bullpen of the law firm will be AI, not
correct. Yeah, you don't need. Yeah, like so this whole thing around like hiring experienced people. Yeah. I think that's going to die. We do that. We don't do that ourselves. Like we're looking for certain triggers, profiles and people and ethics and morals and creativity rather than experience. Because actually when you've got a source of information and output, you don't need a lot of experience. So this is, I kind of think maybe we'll end up with organizations that are full of creative problem solvers that know how to use the AI to support them, that don't have to do a lot of the things that we're doing now. It's kind of like we don't ride horses to work predominantly, depending on where you live, but most of the time we drive to work now.
Yep.
And the only time we see people riding horses is we go to the horse races.
Yeah.
So it's like an old school thing that used to be transport, but now it's not. And now we've turned it into something else. Yeah. And I've got an EV now. I kind of joke about petrol engine vehicles, right? Going, we'll just watch them on a racetrack. We won't actually drive them anymore. Yeah. But, like I think that it's like problem solving and listening, understanding the problem is the most important thing, because to actually solve it, we don't need humans to do that.
Yeah. To identify what the real problem that needs solving is what we need humans for.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Yeah,
what unfortunately, what we've done over the past decades is we've squished the creativity out of the human mind because we're all born. My good friend Uncle Wardle, he
very
would
creative.
say creativity,
Yeah,
curiosity, imagination, intuition. You could add empathy, the human
yeah.
skills, if you wish. But
Yes,
kids, but why, but why, but why? And they want to understand.
yes, yeah,
Daddy said so, and we get into the corporate daddy said so or mom said so's. And now we're going, we need our people to be creative again. We're going, but we just spent decades squishing the creativity out of people. You're paid to work, not to think.
exactly.
And now we're going to go, you're paid to think. And while you're here, if you have to do some work, that'd be okay.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. That's it. I think it's this whole kind of factory worker change, like put the things in the holes and
Well, work only started in school because of reading, writing, arithmetic. We needed to educate people so they could work in factories,
yes,
so they could produce stuff for the war. If you go back to the
yes,
origins of the whole way it all started, and we
yes,
haven't really gone far away from that.
that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
And now here we are
But
with AI going, hang on, well, we can do all that. We've had automation, we've had, the
yeah,
industrial age and machines and,
yeah,
automation in factories and all that. Cool. But what's the role that humans have always played? We still need a human working with the machine, not
yes,
working the machine.
that's right. Yeah. And that's I guess that's probably going to be humanity's greatest challenge
Yes.
is what we talked about earlier, right?
Yeah.
Where we've got, well, okay, I don't need to do these tasks that I thought really empowered me as a human.
Yeah.
I don't need to do those anymore, and I don't need to make decisions in those areas. But you know what? We're always going to be making decisions.
Yeah.
We're just going to be working on other things that
Yeah.
are going to be more important. And we now have the ability and the opportunity to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting when you think then, Aaron, if we look at the decisions then, if the AI can give us a lot more data, there's a whole bunch of other technology out there, we can get much more accurate data. The old saying is, in God we trust, everyone else has to bring data. So we're gonna have all this really great data points.
yes,
Then the decision-making process that the humans are going to have to do needs to be inside that framework of the organization in terms of its purpose, its values, its vision, its mission, its strategy, to making sure that all that data and decision-making goes in alignment with that. We don't make decisions outside of that.
yes,
So that is where the human element is going to be critical because we've always had to make decisions, but now we have to make decisions through a different lens of filters, or the ones we should have always probably made them in.
yeah, that's right.
And because the data will be driven out of AI and or other technologies that'll be around to us.
Correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
I always sort of I grin a little bit when you hear, in the media or whatever, around this whole like, what are the humans going to do now? And what are we, all these jobs are going to go and, this shedding. Well, I think every day jobs are going, and
Yeah,
that's always happened since the dawn of time.
absolutely.
We don't make fires anymore, and we don't, draw on walls and things like that. Like it's just an evolution, right?
Yeah.
So, and maybe it's more prevalent, or we feel like it's faster uh, because of the speed that we're getting closer to human decision making. I think that's where it's like, oh, a human would make this decision, but something else can now make this decision. It's
Right.
all about decision making.
Yeah.
That is what is to be human, right?
Yeah.
So now we have these tools, and we can have these like not just tools, but models within our organizations that learn from us and can help us and support us. And we then need to be just good at letting go of things.
Yeah. And
Right?
that'll be the hard part, right?
Yeah, that's the
Let
hard
go.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Well,
need to be better at letting go.
and I call it like monkey bar syndrome, right? So when you're on the monkey bars and you're holding on, what's the only way to get to the next monkey bar?
Got to let go.
You
Yeah,
got to
one
let go
up.
of one and then to get to the other one, right? But the problem
Yes,
is people, it's not, I don't think people are afraid to let go, is they don't know what they're supposed to be grabbing hold of. So I
right.
don't want to let go. So I end up with fatigue and I just end up hanging and get more tired because I
Yeah,
don't know what I should be grabbing hold of. So
yes,
if we can help people understand what it means to be human in the workplace again, and here's what you should be grabbing hold of and thinking and being empowered to make smarter decisions and then you know
yes.
what to grab hold of. Then it becomes a lot easier to let go of the other one.
That's right. And this whole thing of like being, everyone is busy. and this whole busyness thing around, well, they're just grabbing onto anything just to be busy, right? But I think now we can slow it down and we can go, well, actually, I don't have that much to do. And that's going to be confronting.
Yeah.
It's already happening. I think if we talk about these 4-day work weeks, right? How do we achieve that? Well, it has to be AI driven, because I don't know how else that's going to work, but be able to slow that down so we can grab onto the next thing that is more important, that maybe I missed in my busyness, right? That I can actually focus on something that's actually really important and really big.
Yeah, which is where we challenge people to move from being busy to being productive.
Yes.
Right. So being effective first, efficient second, whereas busy people are efficient, getting everything done right, but not sure whether they're working on the right things or not.
That's right. Well, we love Stephen Covey's 4 quadrants here, right? And we talk about, what's urgent and important, what's important but not urgent, and how do we plan and let go of things. And that's all going to change too, because suddenly the priorities that I thought I had to do, I'm going to free up a bit. And that's going to be great, because you don't want to be living in the urgent and important box all the time, right? And we know people like that, don't we?
Yes.
Constantly.
Oh, yes.
Like everything's urgent and important, and it's so this is I'm looking forward to that. I think that's going to change how we prioritize our work.
Well, remind me to send you our simple model of the productive versus busy.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
I've got a very simple model that we use with our clients to share with them, understand that. And they're like, oh, okay, now I get it.
Yeah, I'd love to show that to
the 4 quadrants and just
Yeah, that'd be great.
So let's get into we're getting some practical stuff. So let's talk about some practical tips. What's one practical tip that you can offer the listeners here that want to begin evolving the world of work in their environment today? What is one thing that you think, from your wisdom as a business owner leader yourself and your experience in AI, that you think that they could start doing today?
Yeah, like I think the number one thing is around the fundamentals of using artificial intelligence in the workplace. And the fundamental thing is you need to build your AI factory, right? You need to consolidate your data, you need to organize it, and you need to take ownership of it. Right. This is really important, right? That you think about all the software platforms you use in your organization, your intellectual property and how you do business, the patterns and the know-how is running in through that data, and that data is being held in lots of different areas, and it's probably not with you, right? So we talk about data sovereignty, more critical than ever before. Reclaim ownership of the data, organize it, create the AI factory, and understand what problems you want to solve. Like, what are the painful, reoccurring problems, right? This is like 101 stuff. But a lot of people are jumping to the apps and the plugins and all that kind of stuff. And guess what? You'll be the same. Everyone's doing that, and you'll just be the same as ever before. There's no competitive advantage. The competitive advantage is on your private, personal, intellectual property, your data, right? So we know that every company in the world will have to have an AI factory at the core of their business, and that's going to help their people, and it's going to solve problems. So that's step one. And then step two is understand the problems to solve. Yeah.
So talk to me, like, just very clear. You've used the word AI factory numerous times, and I'm kind of getting a visual in my head what that might be, but can you just explain simply what an AI factory is?
Sure. So the AI factory at its core has all your data in it. So that's the data lake or the data warehouse component of the AI factory. But then you've got understanding of your people. So that might be digital twins understanding, right? So digital understanding of people. You've got your clients, your customers. You've got your processes of how you do things in your business, the functional things, the operational things. You've also got your products as well. So you think about digital, living, breathing versions of all these things, of your people, of your products, of your processes, and of your clients, your customers. And then they all live within this AI factory, right? And so AI factories are not new, but they've been predominantly at the center of the trillion-dollar companies that we've got around the world. All of those have AI factories at their core. There's plenty of great books that you can read about them, but ultimately every business can do this now. And so the first part, the easy part, is start with the data, right? Build the data lake, the data warehouse, take ownership of all your data from all your software providers. And then work out where you might want to go onto processes first. So we want to automate some of these processes. There might be some decision making in there, so a little bit of AI or not, but start to look at all the manual things that are being done. You might want to look at your people. How are you going to help your people?
Right.
What do they need to be coached on? What do they need to be aware of in real time while they're doing their job, right? So there's the AI factory is ultimately a collaboration or a conglomeration of all these areas together.
Yeah, cool. Very cool. Thanks for that. Yeah, that was kind of what I started thinking. I was thinking this is manufacturing process of, here's all our, and I love the fact that you said, people, process, product. This is where we find so many people are focused on their product, then their process, and worry about their people.
Yeah.
Leadership point of view is say, get your people right, then who do the process, and then the product will take care of itself. And
Correct.
then obviously the profitability, because you're looking
That's
at
right.
clients,
Yeah.
and you'll be fine, right? So,
Well, a lot of our clients start with the people, right?
Yeah.
They go, we want to help our people. We want to
Yeah.
provide real-time, timely, relevant information to our people. We call it automated coaching.
Yeah.
Coach the people first, help them get better.
Yeah.
Right. And then you can start on maybe some processes or, or help the people with a private large language model on your data so they can ask your business questions and get guidance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is probably we normally always start with the people. It's because everyone has people.
Yep. Well, and if what was the purpose of your business again?
Yeah, the freedom to be more human, right?
Right.
We believe in that.
So it's funny how that all works, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I
that's
have
right.
two last questions for you. The second last one is this personal growth. So for you or your own personal evolution, how do you continue to learn and grow in your field, Aaron? And are there any specific habits or practices that help you stay ahead? Because obviously you're in a very fast-moving industry field, whatever you might want to refer to it as.
Yes.
But then how does someone like yourself, based on the premise that we believe as a leader, you have to go first so your team can go further.
Yes.
You need to create that space and capacity for your
Yes.
team to be able to evolve. So what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we talk about that all the time here too. And not just with me, but with everyone in the organization. We have to be learning and growing faster than the business, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise we get left behind and then things start to crumble at the front end. So, I've always been a prolific reader. I think it's like the foundation of learning and growing for me, really critical. And I'll read, predominantly around not just technology, but and artificial intelligence, but things around, like I'm reading The Outliers again at the moment, right? Gladwell, so fantastic about what makes data sets different and the influence of that. I'm trying to, so I'm always reading. That's like number one for me. I've been in EO for 15 years, Entrepreneurs Organization. I'm in my same forum that I've been in for 15 years, learning and growing through experiences.
Yeah.
So no advice or opinion. I'm not big on that. I think it's like I want to learn from people that have done something similar, and so that it's not about knowing what to do, because ultimately I don't think anyone really knows what to do, but you can definitely know what not to do.
Yep.
And so I'm always learning what not to do to help my decision making.
Yep.
That's formal every month, debriefing my life, presenting, having a coach. My wife and I even have a coach, right? So
Oh, wow.
we go on the journey together. Really important. She's the most important person in my life. And we've got 3 young children as well. And we have our family strategic plan. It's one page, right? So we have a 1-page family strategic plan. We put all our goals and our ambitions and who we are, our purpose as a family, how we're going to win, where we're going to focus, our values and our foundations. So these are all really important things. So to me, it's like inside out. I think probably just 3 years into joining EO, I realized that my businesses were a reflection of me. And if I didn't work on myself every day, then nothing is going to happen.
Yeah.
Right. Well, things are going to, I heard this the other day, you're either growing, green and growing, or ripe and rotting.
Yeah.
And I love that. It's just like I'm in a race, but that's my family. We do it together. And then the team here in the business as well. We all want to work on ourselves, and the work kind of takes care of itself then.
Yeah.
It's this internal focus of how do I get better? How do I solve the pain and the things in my life that I need to address? So yeah, definitely coaching. Yeah, coaching peer group, group therapy, I like to call it, with like EO forum, and just being curious and open, right?
Yeah, mate, that's awesome. I love it's funny, like organization that we'll do all these, get our own strategy, our purpose, our values, get all the culture stuff. But if it's good enough for business, but why isn't it good enough for our family? Right. So,
So
everyone in our team has their own personal manifesto, we call it.
yeah,
So we'll know what our own purpose are, our own values, our own vision, our own mission, who we need to become. And then our
yes,
development plans are tied to those.
yes,
We would have them for the organization.
yeah.
So I love the fact that you're doing that.
And I love that. I always say, well, people say, why do you do that? Like why is that actually important? I said, well, what do you want out of your life?
Yeah.
Unless we solve this CRISPR technology and we can live forever, at
Yeah.
this point in time, we're not living forever, right?
Yeah.
So I think, well, I want a life of abundance
Yep.
and of health and of happiness and of purpose.
Yeah.
And so you don't just get those things given to you, right? You have to design them.
Yep.
And you have to have a plan.
Yep.
So, to me, I evangelize that everywhere. And, the team have their own, they use the same template as my family,
Yep.
the one-page strategic plan. I think, well, you either design it or it gets designed for you, and I'd rather be leading.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And well, we have our evolution roadmap, so it has your actual purpose, values, vision, mission, 3 year, 1 year, 90, all on one page.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
it's not just a strategy on the plan, it's your whole manifesto. And then how does it manifest into the world? How do you see it manifesting in terms of what must be accomplished?
Yes.
Because what must be accomplished becomes mandatory when
Yeah.
you get there is arbitrary.
Yeah. I love
But
that.
so we
And that
have
all
that.
comes down to changing thinking, isn't it? Like you're doing
Yeah.
that. It's there. It's kind of like Napoleon Hill, the Think
Yeah.
and Grow Rich and all this sort of, it's like thinking about this
Hmm.
and then changing who you are.
Yeah.
And, and it just, your success rate goes through the roof because it's written down, it's reviewed,
Well, if you don't change the way you think about things, I assure you nothing will change, because how we think
Yeah.
is how we act.
Right.
As a man think and grow rich, I think therefore I am. Like it's been we know this is nothing new.
No, it's all
But
old.
people are, most people are living by default and circumstance rather than taking the opportunity, like you've just shared with us, to do it by design.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
I love like Jim Rohn, with his chalk whiteboard on the old YouTube videos with Jim Rohn saying, if you don't change, your life is never going to change, right?
Yeah.
You have to change
Absolutely.
first if you want your life to change. You can't expect life to change for you,
Yeah. I also love the fact that you, where you said learn from experience. One of our core values at Circle Leadership is wisdom, which is defined as learn from experience.
Yes.
So we're all a team of practitioners. We're not theorists or academics. Nothing wrong with it, but that's not who we are. Everything we've done, everything we do with our clients has been learned from experience.
Right.
So wisdom,
That's
which
wisdom.
leads to the point we were saying about learning all the things not to do.
Yeah.
And we're making decisions about an incision is to cut into, a decision is to cut out or off.
Cut
So
out.
learning what to say no to, because you should already know what to say yes to.
Yes.
So with that wisdom tied to smarter decision making, I just love the fact that I'm like, wow, that's exactly the reason why wisdom is so important, because it teaches you what to say no to.
That's right. Yeah, there's plenty of advice and opinion, right?
Yeah,
but
right.
I want to peel that deeper into, well, what actually did you do, and where did you struggle? How did you win? How did you lose? Like, explain the story to me so I can learn, right? With an open mind. Yeah.
Yeah. So we talk about creating or allowing learning moments and coaching moments, right? Or you allow learning moments and coaching moments to happen in your organization or your family or your life.
Yeah.
The more momentum your life or organization has, the faster you learn, the faster you evolve.
Yes.
So, man, I just just love the way you're thinking about it, and it's great to see that someone, even in such a fast-moving industry, it's hard enough to keep up with that, let alone that. But your expansion of who you are allows for that space and capacity to exist.
You know what I'm doing more? I'm meditating more. Meditation changed my life. Being mindful. I'm exercising more, and because there's more priorities, right? So I'm like, well, I need to look after myself so I don't explode. And first and foremost, I want to be a great husband and a great father, and that's my number one priority. And to do that, and then I need to be a great leader, right? And also we need to solve problems and we need to deliver within the organization. So you know, you need to be healthy and happy and grounded. It's never easy, and I'm not perfect, right?
No, no,
And you know,
always learning.
we're growing quickly, and there's a lot of demand, but I don't want to let anyone down either. So
Yeah,
that's like my thing. Yeah.
yeah, but once again, you're not infallible because you're a leader, right? You know, you're showing the
Yeah.
team that, hey, I'm human too, and I'll make mistakes, but it's how we handle those
Yeah,
and
exactly.
together that will make the difference. You know,
Right.
I love the fact that we can get back to the human mind has two core, well, a couple of core functions. One is it's a goal-seeking, problem-solving device,
Mm-hmm.
right? So imagine if we could actually start to using that rather than this retention device.
Yes.
You know, like
Yes.
we've been using it for that for this storage, and right now we can actually get back to using it for goal-seeking, problem-solving.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's also other function is to keep you sane, right?
That's
So
right.
it's making sure the
Yeah.
pictures match.
Yeah.
So imagine we could, that's where meditation, I think, is really powerful. It actually can, I call it mindlessness rather than mindfulness. I want to get my mind, get less out of my mind.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, so I have less in my mind so that I can actually
Yes.
free it up to do what it's designed to do.
Correct. Yeah, we talk about letting go, like no closed loops.
Huh.
Let it go
Yeah.
and
So I don't
free
work
it
on
up,
mindfulness. I
empty
want
it.
mindlessness,
I'm
right?
speaking at my children's school on Friday, right?
Yeah.
And this is going to be interesting. It's with I think it's dads and sons,
Yeah.
right? 7 to 12, and it's about failure
Yeah.
and why failure is so important and how
Awesome.
the school system has it completely wrong. And I'm speaking at our school, right? We pay good money. It's a private school. It's one of the top schools in the country. But you know, we still don't reward our children for the right types of the right type of thinking and the right types of uh, problem solving, right? We don't reward them for these things. We grade them based
Yeah.
on retention, and retention is becoming less important. As we know, we don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
And we won't need it well into the future. So I love that you shared that, because I'm going to add that into my breakfast talk on Friday. So thank you.
Well, add this one in. Do you know the African dung beetle?
Yes.
So it goes over on a pile of shit, eats it, then takes it somewhere else and regurgitates it over there. All right. And that is pretty much what it means to be a student today is
Yes.
you got to go
Great
all this
conversation.
stuff and then go regurgitate it over here. And we grade you on your ability to regurgitate a bunch of shit.
Yes,
Right?
exactly.
Back in
100%.
our days growing up, they said, like, it's not like you're going to have a calculator with you everywhere you go. You know, so, all right.
Exactly.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
get into one last question. The very last question. This is getting back to the human element, even though I appreciate you've shared a lot of your humanity with us in this podcast. So thank you. I have a
Sure.
list of 1 to 31 questions. You pick a number from 1 to 31. Whatever that number is, you answer the question that's on there.
Okay. Number 7 is my lucky number.
Number 7. All right. Okay, great. Number 7 is a book that practically changed your life. What's the title and why?
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So I think I mentioned it before.
Yep.
You know, it was Dan Sullivan and Mr. Hardy. I remember his first name. I apologize, but 10x is easier than 2x.
Yep.
You heard of this book? Like
I've heard of it. I haven't read it, to be honest. No, but
yeah, it was life changing for me. It was presented in my EO forum. We all read it, and then we review each chapter as we meet each month. I've read it twice now, and it talks about some of these things, right? So the 80-20 rule,
Yep.
and being able to let go of that 80% and give that focus on your unique ability, which is the 20%, which produces the output, right?
Yep.
So a lot of us are not serving and leading our unique ability every day. And what if we just did that all day, every day, right?
Yeah, in your genius zone.
And think of, your genius zone. Think of the output you would achieve.
Mm.
And then giving someone else the gift of that other 80% that you can let go, right? And they can then create their 20% out of that. And then they can also let it go. So in our organization, we talk about letting go and being able to give these things through. And this, this unique ability has just really changed my life and 10x'd all areas of my life. It's not just about money and growth, but it's also about being present and the human side, being a human and building relationships and 10xing everything, right?
Yeah. Oh wow.
So that, to me, that book is I read a lot of books, and that was just so practical and really simple. Yeah. Of course, I'm looking forward to your new book too, Dave.
Yes, mate. Thank you. Yes.
When's that coming out?
Well, actually, I was doing a lot of work on it in the last bits and pieces on the plane flying back from LA. So I've probably got just 2 or 3 chapters I want to tidy up and finish, then the manuscript will be ready to go. So
Perfect.
yeah, mate, I'm very excited for that too. So
Yeah, look forward to it.
you can read my other one that already exists too, you know. So
Well, yeah, well, send me a copy.
I'm going to bring one over.
I'll buy one.
No, I'm going to bring one over specifically. I'll autograph it.
Good.
Mate, thank you so much, Aaron, for sharing on your wisdom and obviously about AI and its impact on the evolving world of work. If people want to find out more about you, actualization.ai, please tell us where the best place to follow you and or learn more.
Yeah, so LinkedIn. So at Aaron Zamykal.
Already on the screen there, which is great. So
yeah, and then you can learn more about what we do. We're not big on we've got to get better at promotion, I think, right? But our website's very simple.
Yeah.
But yeah, actualization.ai is the URL as well. But yeah, hook me up on LinkedIn, and yeah, I look forward to it. I appreciate it.
I mean, once again, thank you so much for being on the show today. It's been awesome. The dialogues, conversations we've had leading up to this. Was very much looking forward to, really taking that and applying it to the evolving world of work. So thank you for doing such a great job of that today.
Yeah, my pleasure. Very grateful. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.